Okay, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. Wow, we've got a great turnout today. Thank you, everybody, for being here for our virtual global internship spotlight. We're super excited to announce this as an opportunity for students to get a global experience this summer. My name is Jacob Evis. I'm the study abroad recruiter here at UA Global. I'm going to kind of be moderating today, hopping in and helping out with some of the slides that we'll be showing you here. I'm joined by two of my colleagues who I'll have introduce themselves in just a minute. But first, I kind of wanted to run through what our roadmap is going to look like today. We're going to do introductions. We're going to do an overview of what the virtual global internship looks like. We'll cover the application process, the placement process, and then we want to make sure we leave enough time at the end for any questions that you all may have. We've got enough people today. I think it'll be best if we keep our questions to the chat box. So please feel free to use the chat feature to submit your questions. I say submit them as you think of them, but we will answer them when we get to the end of the presentation. So we got a lot of information to cover. I think you'll find a lot of your answers in the information that myself and my colleagues are going to present to you. But if you do have questions, go ahead and throw them in the chat box and we'll make sure we get to them at the end. We'll go ahead and leave the video off for this to preserve our bandwidth. And we're going to be sharing the slideshow anyway. And then at the end, we'll do audio and then questions through the chat box. So with that, I think we'll go ahead and get started. And I have my colleagues introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Amy. I am the advisor for this global internship program for this summer. You'll be talking to me if you are working on your application. Just to talk a little bit about my background, but my global experience. I did my study abroad in Italy, and I've worked abroad in, where did I work? Poland, and in Istanbul, and in Dubai. And Jacob, are you going to take it on to Mariah, or do you want me to throw it to her?
No, go ahead.
And our other helper and co-worker working on this project is Mariah. Mariah?
Hi, everybody. Thanks for the introduction, Amy. My name is Mariah Nunes. I'm the Curriculum Integration Manager for our Study Abroad program. So what that means is I get to work with universities all across the world and work with them and tell them which kinds of courses and experiences that University of Arizona students need. And I help map those classes and those experiences to U of A curriculum so that they fit better into your degree plans. So something like an internship and making sure that it gets credit, as well as courses and making sure that they transfer. So I help with all of those things. I did study abroad when I was an undergrad. I went to Orvieto, Italy, and I have experience on work trips to France and to Spain. So I've been to the locations where your host internship employers are located. So we're really excited for you guys all to be here. So we'll take it away.
Excellent. Thank you, Mariah, and thank you, Amy, for joining us today. We're going to jump right to the information here, kind of an overview of the program and what we have coming up for you, and then we're going to dive into all of the details about what this global virtual internship will look like.
All right, I will give everybody this little overview, a brief overview. Many of you are probably familiar with some of this information already, because I know I see some names that have started applications and probably taken a look at the website. So this program this summer is a new program for us. It's an opportunity for you all, since nobody is really traveling right now, it's an opportunity for you all to participate in an international internship from your home. So totally online, totally virtual. The companies that you'll be working with are going to be based in generally either in France or in Spain, and you'll have the opportunity to earn anywhere between 3 and 9 UA credits. You would earn 3 credits for whichever internship option you chose, and then you have the opportunity to earn up to 6 credits more by taking 2 online classes as well. It's kind of said right there, the internship is 3 credits. The global internship is going to run from June 22nd to July 31st. The consulting internship, if you make that choice, it will run from July 1st to August 12th. So be careful of your dates there, a little bit different for each one. While it's not required, you do have the opportunity, like I said, to take courses. So you could take 1 to 2 classes for 3 to 6 credits, and just get a little ahead on your degree or finish up some of your gen eds. Jacob?
Yeah, and I'll point out that, you know, the courses that are for that optional part are listed on the website for the internship. I'll throw a link up to that in the chat box at the end to make sure that you all have that, but definitely make sure you check that out.
So one question we know that you're probably all wondering is what's the difference between the global internship and the consulting internship? So we're of course going to break that down for you, and I'll talk about the virtual global internship first. But in the grand scheme, I want to talk about the benefits of an experience like this. Whether you pick the global internship or the consulting internship, you have the opportunity to work for an international organization. And this is something that is not always an available opportunity to students, and it's not always easy to find these experiences. So right off the bat, this is already just really exciting, and it's a way, of course, to build your resume. This global network that you can gain from this experience is something that wherever you are and whatever career you're going to go into after you graduate is something, I mean, you can take this with you everywhere. So you can tell your future employer, you know, I worked with this company in France or this company in Spain. I made coworkers and I have this network, right, that's kind of across the world, which is really, really cool. You'll also develop a skill set in intercultural communication. You'll learn people with different backgrounds and in different countries. We communicate differently, and you have different barriers, right? There could be a language barrier that you might have to work through. And of course, time management. These organizations operate in a different time zone, right, than where we live. So kind of learning how to balance all of those things, these are skills that you can take into any future career. Of course, there's the opportunity to earn credit towards your degree. So that's just kind of a huge bonus right off the bat. We want to make sure that you're compensated for your time spent in these internships, and we do that by giving you credit. And of course, you know, we hope that an experience like this would encourage you to travel abroad in the future, help prepare you for things to expect in any trips that you have abroad. So we hope that you come out of this kind of inspired to really take on the world. So next, I'm going to go ahead and talk about the differences between those two internship options. So option one is the global internship, and you can really think of this as a traditional internship where it's individualized, it's you working for an organization, just like what you would do here domestically if you get hired in an internship here. Kind of the big difference, of course, is that this is completely virtual, like we've already mentioned, so you will be working from home. But really, like I've kind of already mentioned, is that you're going to be able to have that multicultural professional experience and develop the skills that we just outlined. So it is hands-on, and it's complemented by an academic component. So our partner that we're working with to help provide this experience, they are really kind of outlining your learning objectives and the different types of takeaways and the things that you'll be learning here. I touched on this a little bit, but building your professional network, you'll be able to have, you know, one-on-one meetings with your supervisor and coworkers, and you'd be expected, of course, to be working with these other people. So that network really carries a lot of weight into your future career. We want to touch on language proficiency. If this is something that you're concerned about, maybe you don't speak French or any Spanish, the language fluency is not required for this organization or this experience. Some placements might require some knowledge in French or Spanish, so you have an opportunity to practice some second language. and they might have different levels. And so all of that will be kind of sorted out when you're placed into your internship. So we just want to make sure everyone's aware. If you don't have that proficiency, also please don't be concerned about it. It's okay. It is a 3-credit internship. I know some questions are popping up about the credits, so we'll definitely make sure to address those if we haven't already. And all 3-credit internships require 135 hours of work. So just to give you an idea of what that might look like. And we've made sure our partner is going to provide enough work for you to meet those requirements for the internship. So you don't have to be too concerned about that. So I'll segue into option 2, which is the consulting internship. And this might be the one that you're not as familiar with. And this experience, it's a little bit different than the typical internship. So in the consulting internship, you would be working with an organization that might have some grand problem, something that they need help with solving, right? Something that they are looking for a lot of innovative ideas, and they're relying on you to come up with some of these solutions. So you'd be working actually with your peers. So you might be working with each other, other students that are in this session, or with other students that will apply, and you'll be working in this experience in groups. So that's something to take away too. If you're looking for kind of some group work, any type of experience like that, the consulting internship would be a really great option for you. You will be led by a faculty member, so there will be kind of some instruction along the way. And at the end of the summer, you'll be able to present your solutions to whatever that grand problem is back to the organization. So we think this one's really cool. It's a little bit different. So if you're looking for kind of an experience, maybe you've already had an internship and you're looking for a different way to learn and grow, this might be a really exciting option. So kind of the big difference, like the big takeaway between these two, the global internship is very individualized, and then the consulting internship will be a lot of group work, working with other people and especially your peers. Okay, so I hope that kind of helps to break down any questions you guys have about the differences between the two and help make a decision while you're working through your application. So with that being said, I think we are ready to move on to how to apply.
All right, and I can talk about that a little bit. The application is fully online. It is pretty easy, pretty straightforward compared to our normal study abroad applications, definitely not as in-depth. The deadline to apply is May 22nd. That's sort of a priority deadline, but we do have, for the global internship especially, you must, if that's your choice, the deadline is May 22nd. For the consulting internship, the deadline is a little bit later. You have a little bit more flexibility. You are required to be a sophomore, junior, or senior to participate in this program. That includes rising sophomores. So if you just finished your freshman year and you're going into your sophomore year, you are welcome to join the program. There's a GPA requirement of a 2.5 minimum. If you have a GPA lower than that, send me an email and we can talk about things and we can see what we can do for you. There is, like I said, the application is online. You can apply through the program, the link to the program website, the link to the application is on there. Jacob is sending that out to everybody. Like he said, it's on the same page where you can see the list of classes. Otherwise, it's also here in this presentation. It's right there. You will, as part of your application, be required to upload a recent copy of your resume. So get that polished up and nice and shiny and ready to go. There is a fairly extensive internship questionnaire provided by our partner. They're going to ask you questions about your experience and if you have any language proficiency and what you're hoping to get out of your internship and out of your program this summer to try to really help place you in the right internship for you. Along with both of those, you will also have, as part of your process afterwards, like once you've done all this part, you'll also have an interview that is non-competitive, and I think we're going to talk a little more about that in a second. And then also the final thing you'll need for your application is your advisor approval. So you will have to talk to your academic advisor. They will have to sign off on these credits for you, just to make sure that they are appropriate for your degree plan. They're keeping you on track. They're credits that you either need or want to get. They need to know kind of what's going on, and they need to give their approval for the classes that you take. This is true of all study abroad programs, whether they are virtual or not. If you have any questions about the application along the way, you can always contact me. Some of you have already, and we've been having some conversations about that. I do want to let everybody know, if anybody is wondering out there, if the application was not working well for about 24, 36 hours, the application has been fixed now, so it should be working for everybody. For a while there, it was about a 50-50 shot, and now everybody's applications are coming through and I am receiving them.
Excellent. Thank you, Amy. And Mariah. So I'm going to talk a little bit about one of the key parts of this, and that's the placement as part of the internship. So what you can see on the screen now is sort of the process. You've got to fill out that application. Like we said, the deadline is coming up soon, so we want to make sure that we get that application in. Part of that application process does include our standard study abroad $50 application fee. So once you complete all the sections of the application, you're going to hit the big submit button. At that point, you will then trigger the posting of that fee to your U of A student account. So you'll see that on there as soon as you submit your application. Part of the application process is the internship questionnaire that Amy touched on. We've looked it over, we've seen it. It's a decent questionnaire. It shouldn't take you too long. But the idea is that this will help our partner, IAU, to, in combination with an interview, to get you placed in an internship that's going to be appropriate for you and really match what your skills are, what your professional interests are, and your sort of academic and professional resume. There will be a non-competitive interview, and what that means is that you don't need to stress about the interview, right? This isn't a pass-fail kind of thing. This really is to get to know you, and the goal here is to find the appropriate placement for you in your internship. Now, on the questionnaire, there will be 2 questions related to the internship or the consulting project, whichever one of those tracks that you want to do, where you can list the fields of interest that you would like to look at for this internship. And we've got the examples you see up on the screen in front of you are straight from our partner's questionnaire. So these are some of the things that you could be doing as part of your internship or as part of your consulting project. Now, we won't really know what your exact company placement would be, or what the consulting project would be until you've been placed into it. So that's not information that we would be able to provide at this time, because we need to learn more about you, and then our partner who's going to be doing the actual placing also needs to do the interview, review your questionnaire. So rather than saying here's a list of who, we have a list of what, right? What it is that you would be interested in doing. And so as part of that questionnaire, you want to make sure that you list the areas that you see here that are of most interest to you. Now, we talked earlier, Mariah mentioned this, there is, there may be some language skill required in some of the placements, right? Sort of higher level placements where you would have to have those skills, but we have options at all levels, right? So just because you don't have French or Spanish doesn't mean you can't partake in this internship opportunity, okay? But if you do have previous Spanish or French experience, the question will be on the questionnaire. You want to fill that out truthfully, okay? You want to make sure that you indicate what your level is. And then that way, our partner will know, okay, they possibly could be placed in one of these internships that requires a little bit higher degree of language. So definitely make sure you take a look at that and get that information in on the questionnaire. And that in kind of broad strokes is how the placement is going to happen for you. After you apply with us, we'll connect you with our partner at IAU. they'll review the interview and the question, then get you into a company or into a consulting project based on your fields of interest. I know we've been getting a lot of questions prior to today's info session about that, so we wanted to make sure that we covered that, and of course we'll take any questions at the end that you may have specific to the placement part or the application process. That kind of wraps up what we have about the internship. Before I get to the question and answer section, I just want to make sure we highlight study abroad is still a go for fall 2020, winter 2020, spring 21, and summer 21. Applications are open on our website. We're still moving forward. Now, of course, these things change. We don't know what the future holds for everything going on. But we are optimistic that we'll be able to run programs. Of course, your health and your safety are our #1 priority. Our health and safety team is reviewing things daily, and our leadership team is making decisions daily as to how to move forward with study abroad. But definitely we want to encourage students to check out our catalog at studyabroad.arizona.edu, review programs. And if you find something that you love, get that application started so we can get you connected and stay in touch with you and let you know what's coming up. So a lot of good opportunities there. We have some other virtual events coming up here in the next couple of weeks and months. Build your bucket list. This session is all about dreaming big. We want you to join us as we talk about thinking where you want to go on study abroad and what you want to accomplish and all of the wonderful things you can do in all of those locations that you'll see on our catalog. So definitely check that out. All of these are listed up on the study abroad calendar. If you go to our website and click on the calendar link, you'll see those there. Virtual World Tour is coming up in June, where we'll have our staff join us and talk about the locations they've been to throughout the world and some of the benefits of going there and the awesome things that they've done and the sorts of things you can get into for your study abroad experience. Because remember, I firmly believe study abroad is 2 words. It's study, it's academic. You're there to improve yourself, to get that perspective on your academic field. But you're there to be abroad, to have an adventure, to really get outside your comfort zone. And so we want to help you start to visualize that and dream big about what your study abroad experience could look like in the future. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and start the Q&A session. I know we've got a couple of questions right here to start. I see one about the application fee. I'll say it again. Yes, there is an application fee for this, $50. As soon as you hit submit on your application with U of A, then that'll be charged to your U of A student account. You pay that like you pay any other fee or bill, tuition, things like that. So that'll show up on your student account once you submit that application. And we've got 2 questions here. I'll kick this one over to Amy about partaking in the experience, doing the internship without the credit option. So is that something that our students could do?
To my knowledge, no, that is not.
Okay.
It is a 4-credit program only. The cost of the program is literally University of Arizona summer tuition. There are no added or additional fees to that. So to participate, you have to take the credits.
Yeah, and remember the optional part is the additional 3 to 6 classes that you could take on this. And also, Amy made a good point. This is summer tuition, so it's the lower rate for everybody. So which is one advantage there too. Of course, we wish that you could be traveling overseas, but this is to provide a global experience in these abnormal times. So you wouldn't have the associated costs of plane tickets, or if you have to apply for a passport, travel costs, things like that. So you could definitely stash that money away in a bank account and save it up for another study abroad experience later on. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, this is a good one. Do we have an estimate for how many people can get into this? Do we have a cap on how many students can partake in this experience?
I
We
can
do not.
this. Oh, sorry, Amy.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't see you.
So the official answer is no. There is no cap. But I will say, submit your application early so that, you can get in IAU's schedule and get your interview, ready to go. I don't want to make it sound competitive because we've been saying it's a not competitive experience, but some placements might be, filled. Sooner, right, than if you haven't submitted your application.
Yeah, I would say even though the consulting application has a later deadline of June 1st, if you know that that's what you want to do, try to get it in by the May 22nd deadline with the same deadline that they have for the global internship, because you can start the process right away then instead of having to wait until after June 1st. They will start working with you as soon as your applications have been forwarded to them after the May 22nd deadline.
Yeah, good point. And I'm just going to impact that once again. Get those applications in, the sooner the better, so that we can get you working with our partner. And actually, great question here. We should have said this up front. What does IAU stand for, our partner in all of this?
It's actually the Institute for American Universities. Sorry about that. We should have mentioned that up front. IAUs are who we partner with to provide our programs in France and in Spain. They're great. They've been around a long time, and they're gonna find hopefully as many placements as possible for everybody this summer.
Yeah, and actually that goes to one of our other points. So this experience is limited to just France and Spain. So there's a question here if any of the placements would be in Italy, and that is not the case for this program. However, I can say that we do have some information sessions coming up that may be looking at some opportunities, not necessarily internship opportunities, but just some opportunities to explore Italy in a virtual manner. I will, here in just a second, I'll drop a link in the chat box for that as well. So definitely check out our calendar page, and you'll see the links for those upcoming sessions on there. In fact, I believe we have one coming up just next week. So that may be of interest to those of you who might be looking for something Italy specific. Okay, let's see, what else do we have going on here? Oh, great question here. Does summer financial aid apply to this program? Amy, what do we know about financial aid?
I'm going to give a very general answer to this because I prefer students talk directly to the financial aid office about these types of things so we don't make any mistakes, because everybody's financial aid is a little bit different. Some people get scholarships, some people get loans, some people get grants. But I do know that to be eligible for summer financial aid, you have to be enrolled in a minimum of 6 credits during the summer. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be enrolled in 6 credits through this program. You could do 3 credits in this program and 3 credits just, in a 7-week summer session through the U of A. As long as it's 3 credits or 6 credits total, you should be eligible for financial aid. But really, really, truly, you should talk to the financial aid office to make sure that that applies to your specific financial aid situation.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point. Definitely you want to check on that. There's a good page I will throw up here. This is the financial aid page. They have all of their terms and conditions listed on their website. And you can hop on there and kind of look and see what would be match your specific situation. But again, like Amy said, talk to the financial aid office directly so that you can find out what it is that your situation will cover for summer and this opportunity. Okay, we've got another question here. We've got a 2-part here. So what is the required daily time of the internship? Will those internships be happening on their time zone? The idea being, can we still do summer school or work part-time while doing the internship? Mariah, do you have any insight onto this as to what the, kind of the weekly time commitment would be for this?
Sure. So the daily time of the internship, it really depends on the organization that you're working with. So we can't, give a blanket statement that would apply to every student's internship. So that one I kind of can't necessarily answer, but you can probably expect some of this work, of course, to be on an international time zone, or I'm sorry, a different time zone, but also knowing that these organizations know that you're in the United States. So there can definitely be, what's the word I'm looking for? Some compromise, of course. They know that you're on a, one time zone, that they're on one time zone. So if there are meetings, yours might be early in the morning while theirs are late in the evening. So that is definitely something you can expect, but just knowing that every internship is different. So, we don't have any concrete information to give you at this time about the schedule. Your question, am I still able to do summer school and work part-time? That's really up to you. If you feel like you can balance working part-time, having an internship, and taking classes, we encourage you to do whatever you're comfortable with. Keeping in mind this internship, it's going to be 135 hours of work in about a month-long session. So if your month of July is really, really packed already, this will take up a considerable amount of time through that month. So definitely kind of weigh out what your other obligations are and make the right decision that you're the most comfortable with.
Yeah, and don't forget too, that there is the optional class, add-on for this, up to, 9 credits total, right? 3 of that being internship credit, and then up to 6 credits of classes. So definitely hop on the Virtual Global Internship website and take a look at some of the classes that are offered. Maybe they'll fit, and then you can kind of do, you're kind of doing 2 things at once. And maybe that'll help kind of, balance out needing to do summer classes and then also participating in this experience.
Something to add
go ahead, Mariah.
Actually, that I was just thinking of, and for you in your specific question, it could be that the consulting internship might be a little bit of a better option for you, because that one will be working with peers, on this time zone. And it could be that it has a little bit more structure since it's facilitated by an IAU faculty member. So that one, I would say it probably has, it might be a little bit more easy to navigate with your other schedule compared to the individualized global internship. So I hope that helps.
Wonderful. And actually, Mariah, that's a great segue into our next question about if this internship will be working with other students from around the world in either option, whether it's the internship or the consulting project. I think the answer is yes, but maybe you can speak a little bit more to that.
Sure, yeah. So you can definitely expect a lot of University of Arizona students, especially in the consulting internship. However, IAU works with other universities across the United States. So if they're opening up this opportunity to them, you could absolutely be in classes with students from across the United States. That would be the same experience if you were going abroad and traveling to Barcelona or traveling to Aix-en-Provence. You could have been taking classes with other US students from other universities. So, and really you can kind of think about this too in the same sense of growing your network. If you are working with students and collaborating with students that go to different universities, it might be really cool to get to know them and what they're studying and why they chose to do an internship like this. So there could still be some really strong takeaways from that network.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. Yeah, and also remember, with these internships, Mariah made a good point about the connections you'll be making, not just with the fellow students, but with the organizations that you'll be working with. You'll probably have I can imagine having a point of contact there. The consulting projects will definitely be a good opportunity to network. So either way it goes, you're going to be working across borders, across boundaries in this opportunity. Okay, let's see here. So we've got another question here. Great question. What's the difference between adding the additional courses through Study Abroad and adding them separately through UAccess? are the courses that we see on the website as the optional ones, are those any different than the U of A classes, I think is what the question is driving at.
That is a great curriculum related question. So I will take this one. Super great question. They're just different courses. So that's kind of the biggest kind of bottom line. They're not identical to U of A classes. So if you see something that IAU is offering that really inspires you, that you're interested in, totally add it. If not, and there's a course here at the U of A that you're more interested in taking, of course you can take that. So one thing to note is that the courses that you could add through this experience, they will be transfer courses. So you'll get a transcript from IAU and it'll transfer back to the U of A. So that's just a small note I just wanted to bring up. It doesn't change the amount of units. They're still all 3-unit courses. But yeah, Kayla, to your question, if there's a course through IAU that seems interesting, we would encourage you to enroll, but of course, it's not a requirement. So you still have the opportunity through the U of A, through UAccess. So.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, that's a great question. We have a question here, about the Global Campus Program. So that is a entirely separate program from what we're talking about here today. I definitely recommend that you hop on our global website to, you can get more information there. I believe that the Global Campus Program is highlighted near the top of our website nowadays, so definitely check that out for that Global Campus Program question. Okay, I think that covers everything that we have in the chat box so far. We still got a little bit of time left. Are there any other questions that we can answer for you while we're here and available? Oh, yeah, great question. And I'm sorry, Bree, I think you might have asked that earlier and I didn't answer that. So at this time, we don't know the name of the companies that you would be working with. First, you have to go through the application process and then go through the interview process with our partner, IAU. And then based upon your skills and your desired areas of focus, then you would be placed within your company. So at this early stage in the process, that information isn't available. Really, it's about a more individualized placement based on your skills, your resume, and what your professional goals are related to those areas. So when you do that questionnaire, remember, you'll see the fields of interest, and then you'll list the ones that are of interest to you. And then IAU will use that information and your interview to get you placed with the appropriate company. Excellent. Do we have any other questions about the global internship process?
See a couple more questions there, Jacob.
Yeah, let's see here. If we apply and go through all the steps, are we guaranteed a spot? Ooh, that's a great question. Amy, is there a guaranteed spot for the internship?
There is. This is a guaranteed internship program, so they will find you a placement with a company that you can match up your skills and interests will hopefully match up with, and you will be working this summer.
Just to add to that too, the one little kind of asterisk next to that is as long as you apply by May 22nd.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and actually, since we talked about the applying by May 22nd, what is the deadline for our payments? Do we have a payment schedule set up yet?
The payment schedule is going to be, I believe, on the regular summer tuition payment schedule. So whenever that payment date comes, that will show up on that bill. And I do know it's going to be through the bursar's office for sure, that you will be paying. You'd pay it just like you would regular tuition, but the exact date I don't have in front of me right now. It will be part of the summer tuition billing, though.
Yeah, and if you go, I know if you go on the Bursar's page, they have that outlined. You can look and see when those dates are. And yeah, just to reiterate what Amy said, you know, the tuition for this will be charged just like any other tuition is charged to your account. Cool. So we have another question here. If we're just doing the internship option, not doing the classes, do we need to submit the course applicability to degree form?
I was waiting for this question. Actually, I knew this one would come up. If you are just doing the internship, instead, if you are looking at the application, which it sounds like you are right now, Brandon, there are two different forms in that section of the application. If you're doing the internship part, you only need to do, and you're doing the internship only, you only need to do the second form, which is, Mariah, help me out, I can't remember, the individual studies credit form. Is that the right name?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. You only have to do the second form for that. In the top part where it asks you to re-upload the course applicability to degree form, you can put, sometimes it works if you just put NA in that box, like not applicable, but sometimes it will ask you to just like upload a blank document to make sure, so that section feels like it's fulfilled. So no, you don't have to do the course applicability to degree form, but yes, you do have to do the individual studies credit form with your advisor.
Excellent, thank you. And I'm gonna drop a link in here on the chat box for the Bursar site, back to the question about when the dates are for payment, so you can find that information on there. Oh, okay, so question, if we don't do this for credit, how's the process different for us? So this is going to be for credit no matter what. Either you're doing it for the 3 credits of internship only, or you're doing it for that and the add-on, you know, 1 or 2 classes. So additional 3 or 6 credits. So any way you go about this, you're going to be doing it for credit. There isn't an option within this program to do this without the credit piece. So either you're paying for the 3 credits of the internship, or you're paying for the 3 credit internship and then whatever you add on in terms of classes. So that'll kind of be the difference in the pay or the tuition that you'll see charged to your student account. Okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, do we have an idea of a total amount? I assume, Amy, that we have the budget worksheet up in the application, is that correct?
There's not a budget worksheet per se, but on the website for the program, it does have the approximate costs, which are UA summer tuition, and it really depends on how many credits you are planning on taking. So if you go back to the program website, which I think, Jacob, you've thrown the link up for there, and you go into the dates, costs, and application requirements section, that will have an outline of the different prices depending on how many credits.
Yeah, and just quickly, I'll drop that link back in there. But yeah, like Amy said, down at the bottom, you can see the costs breakdown for whichever options you go with. Yeah, excellent. Any other questions that we can answer for everybody? Okay. I think, let's see here. Oh, good question. I was curious why this one hadn't come up sooner. Is there, are these paid internships? I believe the answer is they are not, but is that correct?
That is correct. They are not paid internships because different countries have different visa requirements for paid types of internships or for work that you are due for them. That is paid, and that is not what we're doing this summer. These are all unpaid. The laws are different.
Excellent. So, great question. So for any additional questions that students may have, I definitely recommend reaching out to Amy If you go to the Global Internships website, Amy's email address is on there. You can that way you can reach out to her. She's the direct contact. I'm going to put it in here. You can always reach out to me as well, and more than likely I will probably direct you to Amy, but I'm happy to kind of help handle some of the traffic there. But definitely go ahead, get that application started. Remember, the deadline is coming up on the 22nd. So we have just a little over a week, but don't wait till the deadline. Get it in now, so we can get that process started for you and get you connected with our partner at IAU as soon as possible once we hit that deadline. Get the ball rolling for you. Okay, so I think this is a good place for us to stop. I want to thank everybody for joining us today. Amy, Mariah, thank you for all of your information. I think this is a great opportunity in these kind of crazy and uncertain times. Please do check out our website. Dream big, folks. That's what we're here to do. We're here to help you make those dreams a reality. Check out all the websites that I put up here. Let us know if you have questions, and hopefully we'll see some, if not most of you, as part of our inaugural virtual internship cohort. Thank you all so much, and I hope that you have a great rest of the day and a great rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.